All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at number 9 on your review sheet, which is actually the first question. So on number 9, you're just going to use the Pythagorean theorem to solve this. So it's the two sides squared, which in this case are going to be 14 squared, plus 16 squared equals g squared. So if you add 14 plus 16 squared, you get 452 equals g squared. Take the square root of both sides, and you get that g is equal to root 452. Now, 452 does have a perfect square factor of 4. So you're going to take root 4 and root 113. So your final answer will be 2 root 113. Okay. So looking then at number 10, this one I know for a lot of you, just need a little bit of extra practice working with radicals, but it's the same concept. So you take 2 root 3 squared plus, you're looking for h squared, h is a side, equals 5 root 21 squared. So 2 root 3 squared would actually be 2 squared and root 3 squared. 2 squared is 4, root 3 squared is 3, 4 times 3 is 12, plus h squared. And then 5 squared is 25, root 21 squared is 21, so 25 times 21 is 525. Now you're going to subtract 12 from both sides. H squared equals root 513. The perfect square factor of 513 is 9. So that's going to be root 9 times root 57. And your answer will be 3 root 57. And that's just in units because there are no units given. Okay. All right, so number 11 is basically a word problem related to the Pythagorean theorem. So you have your television screen, and you are looking for the diagonal length. So this is 12, and this is 16, and you're looking for this value x. So you're going to say 12 squared plus 16 squared equals x squared. 12 squared plus 16 squared is 400. Take the square root of both sides, and x equals 20. And that's going to be in 20 inches. So now moving on to number 12. Number 12 through 17, well, in this case we're just going to work on 12 and 13. So these are your special right triangles. So if this is your 60-degree angle, that means that this is your 30-degree angle. And therefore everything's going to be based off of this x. Well, notice that you have the long side. So to work backwards, I'm going to have to actually divide by 3. Root 3. So if I divide 24 root 3 by root 3, the root 3's will cancel out, and x will just be 24. And if x is 24, to get the hypotenuse, I'm going to multiply by 2. And 24 times 2 is 48. And that would just be in units. Now this one is actually a combination of a 60 and a 45-45 and a 30-60 triangle. So we're going to start with the side that we're given, which is 12 root 2. And that is the hypotenuse of the 45-degree, 45, 90. So to get the side, I'm going to divide by root 2. So 12 root 2 divided by root 2 is just 12, which this is then also 12. And if that's 12, notice that this is your 30-degree angle, which means you have the short leg. Okay, so if you have the short leg, then you can just multiply by 2 to get x, which is 24. And then if to get y, you just take the 12 and multiply by root 3. All right, for number 14 and 15, again, we're looking at your 30-60s. You really need some practice with these. So for 14, notice I have the hypotenuse of the 30-60. So to get y, I'm going to divide by 2. And then to get x, I'm just going to multiply by root 3. 45, 45, again, I have the hypotenuse, so I'm going to take 12 and divide by root 2. To rationalize the denominator, I'm going to divide by root 2, and multiply by root 2 over root 2. So that gives me 12 root 2 over 2. The 12 and the 2 simplify to just 6 root 2. So in that case, both x and y are 6 root 2. So a lot of these are just working with the radicals. And that is still in units because we don't have any given. All right, 16 and 17. Again, we're looking at our special right triangles, 30, 60, 90. So in this case, this is a 30-degree angle, which means this side opposite is going to be your short side, or your short leg. So if I have the long leg, which this is your long leg because it's opposite the 60, I'm going to just go ahead and divide by root 3 and get that this is 15. Which means x is also 15 because they're congruent. And if x is 15, then y is just going to be times 2. So this y is going to be 30 units. 30, 60, 60, if I have 18 here, that means these two triangles are congruent. It means if I get this, I'll also have this. So therefore, I am just going to take the 18 and divide by root 3. Oops. Okay, so 18, divided by root 3. Rationalize the denominator by multiplying by root 3 over root 3. And I get 18 root 3 over 3. Simplify the 18 and 3, I get 6 root 3. So that's going to be the value for x. And then just double that to get the hypotenuse. Again, your 30, 60, 90 relationships. All right. So there is a little picture on the bottom of the screen. And if you are watching my videos and you see that picture, if you email me the picture that I'm talking about on the bottom of the screen and tell me what it is a picture of, the first person to do that will have a little special prize on Monday. This is just to see if you're watching my videos. Thought I'd make it a little bit more interesting. So 18 and 19, we actually went over in every class period on Friday because it's just finding perimeter and area. So it's taking your trig and your special right triangles and it's using that to find perimeter and area. Okay, so for number 18, you are given the long side of, or the long leg of a special right. So you're going to have to divide the 22 by root 3 in order to get your to get the short side. So if I rationalize that, my hand keeps hitting the bottom of that screen there, sorry about that. I'm going to multiply by root 3 over root 3, which gives me 22 root 3 over 3. So that's my height, basically, of this triangle. And then to get the hypotenuse, I'm basically just going to double that. So my hypotenuse is 44 root 3 over 3. So to get the perimeter now, I'm just going to do 22 root 3 over 3 plus 22 plus 44 root 3 over 3. I can put them all in my calculator because I'm just looking for an approximate value here. So when I do that, I get 60.105 feet. Okay. Now for the area, I'm going to multiply 22 times 22 root 3 over 3 and divide by 2. You can actually see the work for that on the answer key, but you get 242 root 3 over 3 feet. And I'm not going to take the time in the video to show you how to simplify all that because you can see the simplification process on the actual answer key that's posted to Edline. For the next one, you have to use trig because notice that you don't have a special angle in a right triangle. So therefore, I need to find both sides of this triangle. So to find y, that's my adjacent side, so I'm using cosine. So I'm going to take cosine of 21 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And I just plug that right into my calculator, and I get 16.700. Multiply both sides by 8 root 5. To get x, I'm going to use sine. So sine of 21 equals opposite over hypotenuse. Again, multiply both sides by 8 root 5. And you get that the side of x is 6.411. Now for area, a perimeter you add. So add 16.700, 6.411, and 8 root 5. And you get 41 feet. And for the area, you multiply 16.700 and 6.411 divided by 2 in your calculator, and you get 53.532. And that's again in feet squared. I guess that's in feet squared too. All right. So now let's take a look at number 22. This one is just your trig. So drawing a picture. I have my special right triangle here. This is 60. This is 30. And I'm given that the ball travels 64 feet before hitting the wall. So here's my 64 feet. Okay, so you're looking for this value for how far it went up, and you're also looking for how far he's standing from the wall. So if this is 64, the hypotenuse, then in order to find my long leg, well, first let's find my short leg. Y is my short leg. So to find my short leg, I'm just going to divide by 2. So he would be standing 32 feet from the wall. And then take and multiply that by root 3 to get that the ball went 32 root 3 feet up the wall. Okay. For number 23, Mrs. Conway takes her dog Emma for a walk, which I really do have a dog. She's a 95-pound yellow lab. She throws a frisbee at a 35-degree angle of elevation to a tree that is 10 feet away. So here's my triangle. Here's my 35-degree angle of elevation. And the tree that's 10 feet away. And I'm looking for how far it went up the tree. So this one I do have to use trig. I'm looking for opposite. I have adjacent. So I'm going to use the tangent of 35 equals opposite over adjacent. Multiply by 10, and I'm going to get that x is about 7.002 feet up the tree. Okay, angle of depression. Miss Sohn, here's my school building. Miss Sohn is standing up here. Okay, sorry, Miss Sohn, that's not a very good picture of you. And she's looking down on students at a 45 degree. Now here's the trick. This right here is my angle of depression. Okay, she's looking down at a 45 degree angle. She knows, or we know, that the school is 45 feet high. So this you're going to kind of have to do a little triangle for. Oops, let me erase that. All right. So here's my right triangle, which if this is 45 feet, this is also 45. And I'm looking for how far from the base of the school the students are standing. So here's my group of students right here. I'm looking for this value, which means this is the same value up here. And I can use this right triangle in order to find my value for x. Okay, so 45, I'm going to use opposite and adjacent again. So tangent of 45 equals opposite over adjacent. So x is basically going to be equal to 45 divided by the tangent of 45. And it's about, I mean, you can use shortcuts here as well if you wanted to. So if you didn't want to bother with that, you can actually use shortcuts. So if this is a 45, that means this is also 45. So if you put all that in your calculator, you will end up just getting 45. The tangent of 45 is actually 1, so that's why it works out.